Hi, I'm Keith and this is my wife Diane.
This is our kitchen renovation with Carlitos. So in here, this will still be quite the hub of the actual working part of the kitchen. However, the cooker will obviously not be there because that wall's coming out, and we're moving our hob over to this side of the kitchen. And so the cabinets won't look too different along here, and the sink will continue to be here because we can look out on the beautiful garden that Keith's created. But then we're going to come through into the dining room space to add to the kitchen.
So this wall here is going to come out completely.
Yeah, we will be taking out one of the living room doors because it has two, and that'd be a nice run of island units, giving us really good and accessible storage. And so our plans in here are really to take this wall out, which will have the island unit, and we'll be able to sit either side of that. And so these walls coming out, and that's going to become bifold doors. So sort of come the summer, there'll be that indoor-outdoor living space as well, and it will really bring the garden into this area for us. This is my counselling room. I'm a counsellor, and previously clients have been coming through into the family room. So like I said, the patio doors there, we'd like to upcycle, and they're going to be put into this wall. So this is the final part of the link to the kitchen, and this has been our existing utility room, which we kind of combine as a garden room because it's been the only space we've been able to really look down
the garden
into the garden. So this actual room won't be any walls coming out, but all of this utility space is being moved into the garage. Carlitos will be helping us with that as well, and that will be phase 2 of the build. So that's a good walk through our plans, and I hope you're as excited as we are. Hopefully when we come out the other side of that, we'll both be looking as happy as we do now. But Carlitos have given us a plan, so we're starting on Monday, and we expect the phase 1 kitchen to take a month, and then phase 2 will start in June, and phase 3. And so it'd be really good to catch up when we're finished so you can explore what we've done.
So here we are, 3 months after the building work started, standing in our new kitchen.
It looks incredible, doesn't it? And so actually to have gone through the process like 3 months and to end up here, I'm kind of mind blown really. And Carlitos, to work with them was just incredible, and they made the whole thing so much easier because just the support that we had, the planning, anything that we weren't sure about, we could approach them. They helped us problem solve things. It wasn't all smooth sailing because when the walls came out, there were things that we didn't know we'd need to deal with, and that was never too much trouble. So initially we started in here, which was our existing kitchen, and this wall between the dining room and the kitchen came down. And what we knew, there would be a gas pipe, but we weren't too sure that it was going to be a problem. And so we realised that it couldn't go back into the ground because the pipe wasn't good enough to do that. Yeah. And so we problem solved it, and we moved the gas pipe into the wall. We just brought this out a bit further. You wouldn't know. So things like that, at the time, they could be really stressful if you didn't have a team that could say, right, okay, we hadn't predicted that. And they were able to bring the team back on site out of schedule.
I think generally throughout the work, because I do quite a lot of DIY stuff myself and carpentry and things, I was just stunned by the quality and the sort of perfection. Jay, I mean, his plastering his perfectionism was incredible.
Yeah. But also everyone on site, Mark who fitted the kitchen, meticulous, really careful, really thoughtful.
Mike, the electrician, just ran the job.
Yeah, he just really helped me, and I was trying to debate what to do, and then sort of moving into the dining room area, we realised when the wall came out into the family room that the island needed to be moved a little bit, and we hadn't sort of been able to visualise that because when you've got a wall, you don't know what it looks like. So that was great. Again, Carlos was down, we had cardboard out, we were moving it.
Yeah.
We were able to adjust the size of the units in time.
So we're now in what was a rather dingy little dining room. Okay, window there, but we had, that was a wall with a door. That was a wall with a door. This was a tiny little dining room. We could hardly get 5 people, 6 people around a table.
Yeah, there was also the door into the living room.
Yes, there was just no space in here, and it was so dark.
Now, we look at it and we're like, wow, this is so much space. How did we never use it? It's like usable space, isn't it? Once, the island unit was in, we also realised that we had originally going to have a glass cabinet on this wall here with lights, and Carlos was great because he came down, and when we plotted out the island and resolved that, we also then realised that this glass cabinet here, it would look nice, but it wasn't going to fit well because it was going to block the view of the opening. Yeah. It wasn't going to sit under this, because we've got this lintel that's part of the existing original house, which was, once the wall was out, a bit lower than we were anticipating. Carlos and Carlitos were just really happy to move with what we needed to make the space work. And so we agreed that that cabinet wouldn't go there, but we'd move it into what is now our dining room, which then left us a problem that was no lighting over the island. And Mike was like, no problem, don't worry, I'll fix that. And I don't know how, to this day, he's managed to put wiring into the lintel, but we now have these really cool lights that we really love. This room's just a game changer, isn't it? So the team, Paul and his dad, who were just amazing builders, and just so lovely to have on site. Everybody, you just felt, you felt sort of really pleased to have them in your home. They came and they knocked out the low walls here and moved a radiator for us to open up for bifold doors, which has now brought so much light in, hasn't it? And we just feel like the garden's now part of this space, which is what we really wanted. So this room, although it hasn't had masses of changes, it's probably had the most fundamental shift in use, hasn't it? We now sit in here all the time. Yeah. We've got a great view of the garden, and then on nice days, we just open that wall up, which just creates a double space with people in the garden, people in here. Yeah. And the patio doors have been moved to my counselling room, which now gives me perfect access to allow my clients to come in. And these were moved by Paul and his dad, and they've built it like they've always been here. So everyone can come in directly into my room, where it's now even better space to be working, isn't it? I still continued to work from home throughout the build, and they were so respectful around that. Really polite if they ever saw any of my clients, just generally thoughtful around my needs as well.
And we're now in our new dining room, which before we started was we had a chair to look out through the door, but this was all our utilities. So our washing machine, tumble dryer, sink and so on, which has all been moved to the other side of this wall and is now into a dedicated utility room.
So the glass cabinet obviously wasn't planned to be there, but actually fortuitously we had an extractor fan from the old utility, didn't we? The electricians were able to sort of rewire that, and Mark came back, which actually was outside of when he'd fitted the kitchen. So the team were able to sort of accommodate the fact that this room wasn't ready when the original part of the kitchen was fitted. And then I was talking to Mark and I was like, oh, can I keep some of those like kickboards and paneling bits? And we decided to create a shelf that matched with those. So we tried to upcycle anything that was left over from the build. And then Keith got a plan from me that I wanted bench seating, which actually also helps because some of the plumbing needed to still be in the floor there.
Yeah, so this is what is now our utility room, which was originally part of the garage here. I put the partition wall in here. I raised the floor so it was level with the dining room. They obviously plumbed in our utilities, was helped with the sink plumbing. So yeah, and also a tip on what kind of heater we could use in the utility room. So that was really nice to have that sort of advice as I was going along, because I wasn't that familiar with all the processes, but that's been a real help.
So you've now seen all the works, and I'm pretty sure everyone's going to think the same, like what a transformation. Really happy. 3 months to create so many different spaces. It's changed all the rooms in this whole downstairs.
Totally.
Really happy with working with Carlitos. It just took away all the stress and the worries around problem solving, needing plumbers or electricians or plasterers.
Just that there is a lot of stress involved, no matter how involved or you are or not. And just having that help and assistance is just so good.
Yeah, because they just help me problem solve things. So as I was going along, I'd be like, well, what do you think? Should we change this? It was never any problem.
No.
But when we came up against snags, they just sorted it. And we were able to do all of this within our budget. It didn't, get out of hand. We felt really in control of that process.
Yeah.
And just, wow, what a lovely team of people.
Yeah, really lovely. I mean, just guys who were interested in what you do, interested in what you were doing.
Yeah, just a pleasure to have on site as well, really respectful of our space. And I think that's really important too when you're opening up your home. And
absolutely no anxiety about leaving the place whilst they were here. Just very trustworthy guys.
Yeah. So absolutely would recommend anyone to work with Carlitos.
Yeah,
I think
for sure.
I think the fact that so we've had friends who've had kitchens fitted and they've had their own fitters, they've had to source this, they've had to source a plumber. For us, working with a team, I think that's just a game changer, and I would really recommend that. And Carlitos really pulled it out the bag for us on all fronts.
They did, absolutely.